Hi, good evening. My name is Marla Solomon. I'm a diabetes educator, and today we're going to have a great show, all sponsored by the University of Chicago Medicine and Improving Diabetes Care and Outcomes on the South Side of Chicago, or in other words, the Diabetes Project, the Southside Diabetes Project. For more information about our project, you can always check here, Improving Diabetes Care and Outcomes, at 773-702-2939. Or please get it onto our website at www.southsidediabetes.org. All right? Today is also the month of March, is National Nutrition Month, sponsored by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. We know that people with diabetes or people without diabetes who are preventing it find eating healthy always a challenge. And this month, for National Nutrition Month, we're focusing upon enjoy the taste of eating right. Eating right is the key. And today we have a guest that's going to show us how to eat right, but at the same time make it tasty. What we're going to do today is the focus of our program is called Eat Healthy and Live Better. Again, during the program, if you have any questions, we encourage you, the viewer, to ask those questions. He's here to answer any of your questions, and if you have a question, I'm sure somebody else who's watching will want to hear. You can call in to CAN TV at 773-738-1060. And in fact, it's on your screen. I'll repeat, 312-738-1060. We like questions so that we all can learn together. Today, I want to introduce you our guest for National Nutrition Month is Chef Brian. Welcome, Chef Brian.
Thank you, Mara.
All right. Well, Chef Brian
Yes.
is also, we'll call him Brian Austin, who's a personal chef.
Yes, I
and
am.
Also CEO of Exclusive Catering in Chicago.
Yes.
We at the Chicago Southside Project has been so lucky to have Chef Brian with us for over 2 years. He's been at many of our community events,
Yes.
giving tastings and cooking demonstrations and teaching us how all foods can be healthy at the same time tasting good. We always think that never goes together. So, Chef Brian, can you talk about how important it is to prepare your foods at the same time using healthy cooking methods?
Of course I can. Let me start by saying also, and we were just doing a radio broadcast on Saturday, and I always like to remind the viewers to get your pens and papers out as well, because there's a lot of information that's going to come out of here in a very little time.
Right.
And it's good that you guys you're going to try to follow us, but if you can make notations of these and call in with your questions, then we'll be able to help you a little bit better.
That's right.
Okay.
And utilizing Chef Brian's talents will make you look good among your family.
Absolutely.
For providing tasty food.
Yes, we do. One of the ways you can always get tasty food is by providing layers of flavor, is what I call it.
Layers of flavor.
Layers of flavor.
Ooh, I like that.
Fresh herbs, a lot of spices, a lot of oils, a lot of sauces, and not so necessarily so much salt. A lot of people tend to like to use a lot of salt in their food because they think it's lacking flavor. So they substitute that with salt, but you can always get flavor. We got a caller, Tanya?
Oh, we have? Okay, great. All right. Flavor, here, go ahead.
You know what? I think you should just inform that everybody should just start eating healthy. Now, as long as you're diabetic, just like the president woman, just enforce people that they should live a healthy lifestyle, eating healthy, so they won't be a diabetic.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you, viewer, for calling in, because we know
That's right.
there's no such thing as a diabetic diet.
Absolutely.
So kudos to the viewer who called in.
Yeah. It's great that you mentioned that, viewer, because I always tell people you need to live to eat and not eat to live. You need to use foods that utilize themselves and do the right things for your body and not just gorge and eat food at will.
Talking about food, it sounds like holistic medicine, huh?
Holistic medicine.
Holistic medicine. All right. Well, great. Again, I want to encourage you to call in. Chef Brian is here, a personal chef, to answer any of your questions with regard to eating healthy with diabetes and also eating healthy to prevent diabetes. You can call in at 312-738-1060. Now, Chef Brian, how do you make, they always say that healthy food doesn't taste good. So how do you combine those two concepts together?
Well, one of the ways you can do that is a lot of people like to fry their food. And they think that's the way you get the most flavor out of it.
Crispy.
Crispy. Well, you can
Crispy.
get that same crispiness by doing oven frying. You can take some chicken or some chops or some fish.
Okay.
And what you can do, here's a slip recipe. I hope you got your pens ready.
Oh, that pen.
You got your pens ready.
That's
you
right.
can take some cornflakes.
Okay. Oh, the crispiness.
The crispiness.
But then when you put them in oil, it's going to get soggy.
No, you're not going to put them in oil.
Oh.
What you're going to do is you're going to crunch the cornflakes up. You're going to
Okay.
take your chicken breast fillet or your salmon fillet
Okay.
or your tilapia, and you give it an egg wash.
Oh, an egg wash.
Whitewash or egg white.
Oh,
It's
so
even
there's
healthier.
Because there's no fat in egg
Absolutely,
whites.
absolutely.
Oh, right. All right.
And what you do with that is then you coat it, you roll the chicken breast in
Okay.
the crispy cornflakes, and you put them on an oven rack and put them in a 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes, and you would swear you fried that chicken in
wow.
a deep fry in some oil.
Now, what I'm seeing is cornflakes have no flavor.
No flavor.
Egg whites have no flavor.
No flavor.
So all that we're eating is a plain, bland chicken.
Right. Well, actually, that's what. Let me just backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
That's when you add your layers of flavor.
Oh, the layers. I love that.
So to the cornflakes, what you can
yeah.
add.
Okay.
And I always tell people, Mrs. Dash is a great good substitute. They
Okay.
got different blends of Mrs. Dash. They got the herbal, the garlic, they got the little mesquite. They got a lot of different blends. So what you want to do is you want to season your cornflakes. You're absolutely
And you know
right.
what? I'm going to interrupt you because I remember at one of the cooking demonstrations with
Yes.
our Southside project, Chef Brian talked about developing your own Mrs. Dash.
There you go.
All right.
Absolutely. And you
So
can
what's
do
your
that.
favorite
My
combination?
favorite combination is paprika,
Okay.
a little chili powder to get that little robust,
Okay.
garlic powder.
Okay.
Notice I keep saying powder, not
Yes.
salt.
Exactly.
Celery powder
Okay.
and onion powder. Those are my
Ooh.
favorite. It makes such a great a barbecue rub. And if you want to add a little brown sugar to that, you can make a great barbecue rub. And believe it or not, to get a smoky flavor from
Right.
food, add some coffee grinds.
Coffee grinds.
Coffee
Ooh.
grinds. You just-
so when
yeah.
we're so saving those coffee grinds,
Saving them coffee
you'll be
grinds,
able to use it
you'll
again.
get that robust smoky flavor without even having to use the smoke.
Now you mentioned brown sugar.
Yes.
And people are going to thinking, oh, not for diabetes, not for
Okay.
diabetes. But realize that the amount of brown sugar that you're adding is very little.
Very, very minimal.
and
very,
then when
very
we
minimal.
spread it among a whole
Absolutely.
pound of chicken,
Remind you, building those layers of flavor.
layers of flavor.
Yeah, yep.
Layers of flavor.
Layers
It's
of
very
flavor.
cool.
Yes.
Now, please, viewers, call in. We have Chef Brian here to answer those healthy questions to making all your family traditions to be healthy.
To be healthy.
To be healthy.
Yeah, feel free to call in. Another thing too, Mark, a lot of folks, and I always emphasize for folks to try to eat fresh vegetables if possible. Some people
Okay.
I can afford that. Well, you can also use frozen.
Exactly.
There are
Okay.
also frozen vegetables. And if you happen to get fresh vegetables that's in season, you get them when they're in season, when they're cheaper.
Okay.
And then you can freeze them yourself.
Which is great.
Which
yeah,
is also,
yeah.
it's always great to freeze them.
And that's, when you're talking about getting fresh, the Southside Diabetes Project, we've been at the 61st,
Street Farmers Market.
and I know that you've presented
Absolutely.
there too.
I've done presentations there in the summertime, and believe it or not, they're still operational in the winter. They have an indoor farmers market where there's not so much demonstrations done, but we do have food samples.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
also let you sample some foods that are made from some of the locally grown products.
Great, great. It's
Yeah.
really a lot of fun
It's
going
a
out
lot
there.
Of fun. You would be surprised at some of the products that we have here.
And people always think that it's more expensive
Yes.
if you cook healthier.
Yeah, they always think that. And and let's just to turn the note on that, even if you have to buy your veggies in a can, I always tell folks, I always use this example, you should rinse those veggies well. Because I tell people what they were stored in is what's keeping them up there. And I would say if it's on a shelf that long, I don't know how long it's going to be in my body.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
And
yeah.
that's why when you eat fresh, they die faster because they do what they need to do for your body, and you dispose of them. So just rinse them well, because some people can't afford the fresh.
Exactly. Or go with frozen.
Or go with frozen.
Because
Always the
frozen
best
is
option.
actually purchased
Purchased.
at the time of.
Yes, the high peak season. And then
Exactly.
you just freeze them to preserve
Okay.
them. Sure.
Well, what's your favorite vegetable?
My
What
favorite vegetable-
let's talk about greens.
There you go. I was about
Okay,
to say most of
greens.
my favorite vegetables are green. I love asparagus. I love green beans, and I love kale.
Okay, but when I think of the typical traditional way of making greens.
Oh wow, they kill the flavor and they throw out all the nutrients.
But how about the oil, the fats they add? How about the ham hocks and what they're adding to that?
Yeah, and then we can always substitute that. Like a lot of people are doing like turkey meats now,
Okay.
which is kind of fatty as well. If you got to watch the turkey meats that you use because turkey tails are very fatty.
Okay.
You can use necks, you can use wing, so you can substitute that. And actually, you don't even have to use the fatty foods. What you can do is when you're cooking your greens, right near the end, you can add just a tad bit of canola oil or olive oil. If you're trying to
And when
get
you
this-
say a tab, do you think this is a tab, which is a tablespoon, or is this a teaspoon?
it's a teaspoon.
A teaspoon, which is, in a diabetes meal plan,
Right.
that would be one fat serving. And when you're
Absolutely.
serving a big pot of greens,
Yep.
it amounts to
So
very
very
little.
little. Yes,
And it's
it
also
does.
a heart healthy fat,
It's
too.
very heart healthy.
Very cool.
Yes.
You're talking about what type of meats to add to keep it heart healthy. What are some others? Oh, let's stop right now. We have a caller on the line. Caller, your question, please.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. So I love pasta.
Oh,
But sometimes, pasta isn't my friend. So
Okay.
I want to know, is there a healthy way that I can enjoy pasta from time to time?
Actually, there's a very healthy substitute for pasta. Now that we mentioned that, when I was at the farmer's mart and I did an indoor tasting, I actually made a veggie lasagna,
that's
and I
yes.
used the zucchini squash as my pasta.
Which, with people who have type 2 diabetes,
Yes.
that's a non-starchy vegetable,
Yes.
so you don't have to count it because it's low in carbohydrates.
Absolutely. And also, you can take that and you can use the same zucchini pasta, the zucchini, and you can make a pasta and put a red sauce on it. You can use that as your spaghetti or your
Okay.
linguine. So
Exactly.
you can always substitute your pasta with a veggie that can have just the same texture and the same flavor, but a better nutritional
That's
value.
great. Now, pasta, for some people, especially some people who can't eat wheat,
Right.
that have celiac, having a vegetable substitution would help solve that. So that's
Absolutely.
great. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
So yeah,
That's
caller,
awesome.
try that. Try that.
Okay,
I
thank
guarantee
you.
you will enjoy that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Oh, we have another caller. Chef Brian,
Yeah.
people love to eat,
Yeah,
and
they
food
do.
is such a major
Oh,
part
yes, it is.
of a healthy lifestyle,
Yes, it
right?
is. Yes, it is.
Okay, caller. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, hello.
Hi, caller.
Yes, I'm calling because I know that orange juice is bad for people with diabetes. That's probably how I got it
Right.
in the orange juice bottle. And I know it's sweeter. But what if you had just the fresh orange juice and you wanted to drink it? Because I know it helps bring your pressure down.
Oh, the potassium. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, from that perspective, why don't you handle that? You might know,
You know
more
what?
about that than I do. As far
Okay,
as
well,
yeah.
first of all foods can fit into a healthy meal plan for diabetes,
Absolutely.
okay? Now, realize when it comes to a food serving, a half a cup of orange juice has the same number of carbohydrates and calories as a medium orange.
Oh wow. Okay.
So when we're, a lot of times people need to watch their weight.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're drinking a 12-ounce bottle of juice, that could be equal to 3 oranges.
Absolutely.
So it's better to stay with the whole orange because we have less tendency
Yeah.
of drinking too much.
Yeah. Does that make sense, caller?
So you're saying I can use orange juice if I squeeze it fresh?
Well, you know what?
Yes, it
You can also get frozen if
Yeah.
you dilute it, the concentrate. But again, a half a cup of orange juice has the same amount of calories and carbohydrates as a medium orange.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't just settle for a half a cup. That's a teaser for some
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that's
All right,
true.
so you can have it. Now, realize that it has natural sugar.
Mm-hmm.
If it has added sugar to it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an orange juice, but an orange drink,
Yeah.
and it's going to be higher in calories as well as in carbohydrates. So portion control.
Portion control.
Portion control is the
Yeah, 'cause
important
so,
thing.
So in essence, caller, it's probably best to just, instead of just the orange juice, eat the orange.
That's right, because you'll
you'll consume. Yeah, it'll be better, and it'll be more filling for you. as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But like lots of
Well,
times.
thank you.
Okay,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Have a good day.
You're welcome.
All right.
It's funny you mentioned that, and we touched on this when we were on a radio broadcast. How people don't pay attention to serving size. They think they get a bag of chips. They think that's one serving.
That's right. That's
And
right.
actually, they need to pay much more attention to
Right.
the serving sizes on the chips.
Exactly. And I bet, like in your cooking, sometimes using orange juice, can be a tasty addition
it
to
can.
some of our chickens and our
Absolutely.
pork
Absolutely.
dishes
Yeah, absolutely.
and so forth.
Yeah, you can take that orange juice and you can put it in a pan, and then you can heat it and then let it reduce and make a nice orange glaze that you can brush over any kind of meat. So that way you'll be getting the same nutrient. You just lose a lot of the water out of it, and it'll be a more concentrated bread.
Yeah, it's interesting because you said to boil it to form a consistency like a glaze
Yep.
instead of adding any
Sugar.
table
Yeah,
sugar,
it just takes the water out. and it
which
thickens.
which has no nutrition.
Yep.
That's a great another idea from Chef Brian on how to eat healthy, low fat, but tasty
Very
that your whole
tasty.
family will enjoy.
Yep.
So can you think of other cooking methods
Yeah, I can.
for our viewers?
Yeah, one of the other things you viewers can also do, and with that same method as far as with frying, you can take, I do this one a lot, I take croutons or breadcrumbs.
Okay.
And it's another thing. I know
Just
you
like
guys,
the cornflakes.
just like the cornflakes.
Okay.
And this time we're going to saute it in a skillet.
Okay.
And it'll get that same brown, that same crisp. And I always tell people, and especially with their bread, that wheat bread, you throw a lot of bread away, freeze it.
Oh,
Freeze it. And
great.
then, or you can set it out and let it get day old and put it in your process, or use your hands and make you some breadcrumbs and put them in a Ziploc bag, and you can store them. Those will act as a great coating for if you want to pan sear any meats or any fishes. And that way you're not doing a deep fry, but you're getting the same. You can use a teaspoon of oil
Okay.
in a skillet.
Okay.
You coat your fish or your or chicken or whatever, and you just pan sear it. And the whole category goes an inch of thick, 1 inch per thick. The thickness. If it's
Okay.
an inch is the thickness of it. You just
Okay.
go a minute an inch as far
Okay,
as frying.
great,
That's what I was
great.
trying to say. So when you do it, if you have a 1 inch thick piece of chicken, which is
Okay.
real thin, a lot of people be surprised at how quick that will pan sear. You have a hot skillet, you put your bread coatings on it, and you pan sear it on each side for a minute, and you got a very, very nice tasty
Very
piece of
cool.
chicken.
So pan,
Pan sear.
Okay, now-
we got the baking method.
baking
We
method.
got the pan searing method.
Believe it or not, do we ever think of barbecuing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my
can.
gosh,
Oh,
in
yes,
the
we
freezing
can.
weather?
Yes, we can. Look, I'll barbecue in the winter myself because, hey, and I always tell folks too, when it comes to barbecue, it's so fun. I'm giving out some more tips.
Okay,
That has probably
writing
nothing to
like
do-
Chef
You
Brian
got your
said.
pins out.
Got
You
your
gotta have
pins.
your pins out. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of information in a very little time. I always tell people when they're barbecuing, fire is not cooking. If you see fire that's bad, it's smoking. You want to smoke enough for indirect heat. Because a lot of times the thing people fail to do is they'll brown the meat and they think it's done.
Okay.
And it's really not. And then inside is raw and you can get all these pores. Another thing, if you're an avid cooker, the one basic tool you want to keep, and that's like a Bible in the kitchen, is a meat thermometer.
Oh yeah.
You definitely
Especially
want
for
to
pork.
Especially
For pork.
You want to have a meat thermometer because you can easily spread a lot of bacteria and salmonella if your food isn't prepared to the appropriate temperature.
Okay.
Okay?
Absolutely. So we want people to not only be healthy,
Yeah.
but also safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Safe. Great.
Absolutely.
Well, again, we want people to be aware that this program is being brought to you by the University of Chicago, Improving Diabetes Care and Outcomes on the south side of Chicago. You can attend so many different events by the University of Chicago Diabetes Southside Project. Please use our website, www.southsidediabetes.org, or call us at 773-702-2939. Again, 702-2939. And at this point, Chef Brian and I have been sharing with you all the things that our project has been sponsoring. And there's some events that are coming up.
Absolutely.
So use your
Absolutely.
pen. Use your pen.
Well, actually, I will be doing an event tomorrow, a cooking demonstration at the Chicago Family Health Center. It's on 9119 South Chicago.
9119 South Chicago.
They're actually
Now, what is this place called?
This is the Chicago Family Health Center.
Great, which is
Yes.
part of our project.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank
They
you
have
for
They
sharing.
have a health fair there because, as Rhonda mentioned, this is National Nutrition Month.
Exactly.
So they have a full health fair tomorrow going from 12 to 4. Chef Brian will be there doing a live cooking
In other words,
demonstration. That'll be me.
You.
I will be there.
Okay.
Doing a live cooking demonstration.
And
at
how much
12:15.
is that?
It's absolutely free.
Free. I love that word. I
Absolutely
love
free.
that word. Okay, great. Well, some of the other things that are coming up this coming Saturday, Save a Lot Grocery Stores has been collaborating with our project, and the next food store tour is this coming Saturday at 4701 South Cottage Grove. That's 47th Street in South Cottage Grove from 10 to 11:30. But please call to register. Again, the number to register is 773-702-2939. Also, the Clio Community Family Life has their next food pantry on April the 7th. Excuse me, April the 2nd. Too many dates, okay?
I know.
April
That's
the
why I said
2nd.
they get those pins.
I get the pens, but if someone's not giving
I
to you
know.
correctly, so April the 2nd at 5500 South Indiana Avenue from 2 to 5. You know, they have a food pantry project the first Wednesday of every month. So April the 2nd is one. And then also what's real exciting is the American Diabetes Association
Yes.
annual Diabetes Expo. And these
Yes.
expos are throughout the country.
Yes, they are.
And the
yeah.
one in Chicago is the largest. There's
Yes,
like
it is.
12,000 people.
Yes, it
it's
is.
free. And it's at
absolutely free. There's so much information there.
and you're going to be there.
I
You're
will
going to
be
be there
there.
too.
Again.
Exactly.
I
Now
actually-
again,
yeah.
wait a second. So it's April. We're going through.
Okay.
There's so much excitement.
Yeah, it is.
April the 5th
Yes.
from 10 to 4 at the McCormick Place Convention at 2301 South Lakeshore Drive. So everybody, McCormick Place,
Yeah.
Diabetes Expo, April the 5th from 10 to 4.
Bring
and
the
it's
kids. It's
It's
family
free.
friendly and it's free.
And it's free. Now,
It's
I
free.
recommend that you register
Yes.
before, but
Yeah.
you can
You
come
don't
in.
have to, yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to. But there's cooking demonstrations
Oh, yeah.
a la Chef
I will be
Brian.
there.
There's educational sessions.
Okay.
There is testing.
Yes, yes.
There's so
There'll
much
be
going on.
physicians on site. There will
Exactly.
be chefs on site.
Physicians
there will be
there,
nutritionists on site.
right? Exactly.
So,
So
yeah.
you will leave there with tons of information for you and your family, and it's free.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
lots of things
Lots
coming
of
up.
things happening. Lots of
Exactly.
things happening.
Now we want to remind people that we're still here. So if you have any
Yeah.
questions, please call
Please call in.
312-738-1060 to answer those health,
Yeah.
nutrition, and cooking
Absolutely.
questions.
And while we're talking about that, it's important too that we remind our viewing audience, and you may be able to expound on it, that everyone should have a diet that consists of fibers, sodiums, sugars, and fats.
So we'll think of high fiber, low
Low
sodium,
sodium.
which is salt,
Absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
and low fat
Yes.
to be heart healthy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly,
absolutely.
exactly.
Because some people tend to take some of these things from their diet, and they actually need them all, but in a moderated portion and in a very healthy way.
Exactly. And think about all the traditions
Yeah.
that we can take those traditions and make them heart healthy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly. This is great.
This is
Okay.
fun.
Anyway, what could be more fun than enjoying your family favorites, taking your recipe,
Absolutely.
and seeing what can we do? Can we decrease the amount of fat?
Absolutely.
Can we eliminate the salt?
Yeah.
And most importantly, can we reduce how much we eat?
All about portion control.
Portion
And a lot
control.
of people don't tell them. I've learned this from Marla, and they tell you to eat a 6-ounce portion. People are like, how do I know if I got 6 ounces? What do you tell them?
Well, typically, according to the Heart Association, we want no more than 3 ounces. It's 6 ounces a day.
Yes.
Okay? So the palm of a woman's hand or a
you go.
deck of cards is 3 ounces.
you go.
So make sure you have that woman's hand close by.
Because you know Chef Brian hand, I don't think that's a 6
No,
ounces. so I gotta
exactly.
kinda-
So a family of 4 should have no more than a pound of meat.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you can also save costs, okay?
Yes, you can.
Because a lot of times people will sit down with a large family and
absolutely.
also.
Yeah,
But-
another thing too, another thing people need to start paying attention to, start reading labels.
Exactly.
They need to read the labels on these things. When you read the labels and ingredients, usually if you see salt first, that's usually like one of the main ingredients.
Exactly. Well, typically the first 5 ingredients
Yes.
are the most in a label.
Yeah, so it's
Or most in the food that's on the label. Mm-hmm.
So it's important that people start. They're starting to make these labels more consumer friendly now because they used to be so complicated. There's
Exactly,
so
exactly.
much information.
In fact, right now, well, the latest label came on packages in
Yeah.
1994.
Yeah.
So with Michelle Obama and looking at what's important,
Yes.
they're making recommendations.
absolutely.
Dietitians are getting together and providing their recommendations. So please, as consumers,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want to know your information.
Yeah. Start reading those labels and paying strict attention to those serving sizes.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
yeah.
realize, as Chef Brian did, that there is no such thing as a diabetic diet.
Yeah.
It's just a healthy
Healthy.
way of eating
Absolutely.
for you and your families to control your diabetes,
Yep.
to prevent complications,
Yes.
and also to prevent chronic diseases like diabetes.
Yeah. And
For
another
mo-
thing before we wrap up, I just want to remind everyone that before you start any diet, before you try any program, you need to consult with your doctor or a health physician or some type of
Have a
nutritionist.
medical team.
Have a medical team to help
Absolutely.
you through your trip.
Thank you. I hope that everyone has a medical team to guide you because there's a lot of things to do. So I want to re-emphasize, for more information about free programs at the University of Chicago, including in our Diabetes Southside project, please call 773-702-5600. Thank you so much for participating. Chef Brian, as always, we're having so much fun.
Always a pleasure.
I will see you at the Diabetes
Yes, you
Expo on April the 5th, as well as we hope to see you at one of our Southside projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
Bye-bye. Bon
Bye-bye.
appetit.
Bon appetit. Okay. So just remember.
Oh, yeah. Remember to